Sometimes life is not perfect, which means our homeschool is not perfect. Here's a quick tip video to help you if you are in that season of life with me. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Mandy, the Handmade Homeschooler, and today is another quick tip video. I feel like this is becoming a series, but you guys really do like these little quick tip videos so much that I just keep making them. So today's quick tip is about stressful life situations, like stuff that's completely out of our control that just makes life hard. Because when life is hard, it automatically becomes harder to homeschool. I'm gonna go ahead and just admit I am somewhat of a perfectionist, and I think that the Lord is using some of these situations to refine me and to make me quit that. So it's been a very humbling experience over the last couple of weeks, trying to wrap my brain around all the changes that are happening so very quickly in my home, and trying to make things work even when the situation isn't perfect. Sometimes things are going to happen that are out of the blue, that you have no control over. I was not prepared for this at all, like not even in the slightest. And we were just happy going along in our homeschooling groove, and then just literally one day everything just stopped in the house. Like it was like a screeching halt, and our lives were turned upside down. And all we could think about was, how do we get our child to be healthy? You know, all of a sudden the school books really didn't matter that much. What mattered was the health of our child. You know, I want to kind of talk about those kinds of situations. There was a lot of things over the last couple years that I was not prepared for, but I have had to learn how to homeschool around. I really had to give up the dream of having like that perfect homeschool year. I don't know if some of you maybe have, you know, the dream that we dream in maybe summertime of how the school year is going to go and how perfect it's going to be. And then all of a sudden things happen and it doesn't look like that anymore. And all of a sudden you got to change what the dream of your homeschool actually is going to look like, and you have to face reality. But those moments, however hard they may be, remind us of what a grace it is to be able to homeschool in the first place, that we are really blessed to be able to have this opportunity, and how hard a lot of these situations would be if our children were in public school. I know right now, if my kids were in public school, this situation with my youngest would be a nightmare. I don't even want to think about the trial it would be to go through if we had both kids in public school. There's a lot of things that I was not prepared for. I was not prepared for my son's diagnosis. I was not prepared for my grandmother's death. I wasn't prepared to change my career 3 times in the last 2 years. What I found was ultimately the Lord put me where I was supposed to be. And that made all the difference. It made all the difference in my home when I quit working so much and I just focused on these small little side hustles like YouTube. I definitely was not prepared to have 2 major chronic illnesses. No, I'm sorry, 3. I have a new one. So I wasn't prepared for that either. And you can imagine the disruption that that can bring to any home, to have mom down with 3 major chronic illnesses, and sometimes they hit at the same time. It can be a nightmare. I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't prepared for all the doctor visits that would come with having all of those. And then on top of that, then my kid getting one. I mean, it's just been almost dizzying at some points. Instead of trying to change your situation, sometimes we can't do that. I can't magically cure myself or my son. I can't make him not have to go to the hospital. You know, these are just facts of life that I'm gonna have to learn how to work through. You have to learn how to not want so much control to change the situation, but how to work around it. Whether that means doing homeschool at a different time of day, maybe sometimes doubling up homeschool so you have 1 free day in the week where you can take your child to the doctor, or doing homeschool like at night, or, you know, while they're at the hospital. There are different things that I can do to kind of alleviate that stress, but I have to learn how to work through that situation instead of trying to change the situation So it can be a little difficult, but I'm telling you guys, it is possible. It really is possible. So there's my soapbox moment. And always remember that we can endure all things through Christ, that He is sovereign over every situation that we go through. He is ultimately in control. And if we believe that, then we're not going to want to try to change every situation so much. We're going to embrace the situation, and we're going to find a way to work through it and try to figure out what God is trying to teach us while we go through these moments, even if they're hard. Even if the situation is gut-wrenching and so very difficult and scary, kind of like what we just went through, I can guarantee you the Lord is trying to show you two things. One, that He is sovereign and in control, and two, that you have to learn how to trust Him more. And that's something that I don't think even the most experienced Christian, somebody who's in their, 90s, gets tired of learning. That's one thing that we, I think, as Christians have to keep learning over and over and over and over again until the race is won. And we figure out ways to work around what's happening to us rather than trying to avoid it altogether, because sometimes we can't. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. And as always, happy homeschooling.